What's up, YouTube? This is Cosmic Raven, otherwise known as Cosmic Raven 68. I'm shooting this video for mostly my clanmates and friends, but it's also, I get a few other people on YouTube that follow things. This is going to be about what I call fourth agent farming, or you could call it Warlords of New York farming, or New York City story run farming. There's a number of different ways to do it. But in my previous videos, namely why materials matter, you're going to want to watch that. I'll try to link that video in the description of this one, or maybe put a card up on the video on YouTube. This is how we get the materials, okay? And there's a couple of sticking points, but I want to show you some things. First off, this is my main agent I'm on right now. I'm going to go in here to my Shade Watch, and you'll see that I have all these materials here. I got a pretty good stack, but I'm running low on field recon data, and I can spend all of these points here and bump up field recon data a little bit, but I got a bunch of stuff that I'm going to want to optimize, and there's some other things I'm going to need. So I'm getting to a point where I'm really going to need a lot of resources here coming soon for some stuff I want to work on. And one of the ways we're going to leverage those resources, how I'm going to get those resources, is I'm going to delete my fourth agent and recreate him, and I'm going to run New York. And the reason why I call it fourth agent farming is you can have 4 agents on a player account, but if you delete any agent, regardless of which slot it's in, every one that is to the right of that agent moves to the slot to the left. So if I were to delete this first agent, which I'm not going to do, but if I were to delete this first agent, agents 2, 3, and 4 would all move to the left one, and the 4th agent slot would be empty. So whenever you recreate an agent, if you have all 4 agents, you are recreating the 4th agent. So I just abbreviate everything to call it fourth agent farming. So first, I'm going to log into my 3rd agent. And why am I logging into my 3rd agent rather than my 4th agent? It's because I have done this process cyclically, repeated it, iterated it several times. And there's things that carry over from one iteration of the process to the next iteration of the process, namely gear. Okay, so I recommend that at some point you slow play, or not slow play, but get a agent that is between level 1 and level 30, and you collect some gear. So I'm going to explain some things looking at my 3rd agent here. All right, first off, see this set? It's all gray. This is all level 1 gear. It's the stuff you're issued when you create a level 1 agent. And I keep this to create a loadout, basically so that on my other agents, not my main agent, but my other agents, I can very quickly take all gear that's worth anything and all mod chips that are worth anything off this agent quickly. And the way that I do that is I keep a level 1 set, a loadout on this agent that I can load. So it's in a loadout, and you'll see I've named it delete. And the reason why I've named it delete is this is the gear. If I were to delete this agent, this is the gear I want him wearing when I delete him, because whatever gear and mod chips the agent is wearing get deleted when you delete the agent. So this is a very critical part of the process. You want to disable the chance of deleting anything good. Now, I also have some other loadouts here. You see I've named this one level 30 farmer. This is the gear that I will start New York with. I'm not going to start with what the game gives me by default. The way I do fourth agent farming, New York City farming, is I keep a set that I like to play with, that I think is good enough. And I have in fact farmed all of New York on story with this gear without upgrading a single item. I've already done that once. It's difficult, but I wanted to see if it could be done. No, I don't have a video of it, and it's not worth taking a video of it because time is our most important commodity. So in addition to this level 30 set on my guy, I also have, if we scroll down here, you'll see I've got some level 37s, some level 36s, level 32. I've picked up some things each time I've run New York. That's like, hey, I can swap this piece of armor out partway through my New York cycle. And what'll happen is if I were to play through on only level 30 gear, eventually my armor isn't much and my damage isn't much. So if I don't upgrade anything, the enemy eventually will get to the point where they can overpower me. And I would die more often than I need to. But it's not impossible to do it with just level 30 gear. So I keep a few extra pieces. But part of it is the level 30 set that I'm starting with is pretty powerful. It's a good set, all red. It's not max rolls everywhere, but it's close enough. And I even have an exotic in there. So this is a set that I'm comfortable with. I've played a lot of hours with that set, and I kept it. And each time I farm New York, I want to start with that. So my third agent, I've created a loadout for this. And the advantage of doing that is I can go into options down here, press F, and I can send that entire loadout to the stash. Now, before I do it, I want to show you something. I have, you notice that my agent's all decked out in red here, and all of his gear is decked out in red. That's not just a cosmetic choice on the gear. It is, I use the paint on these items to tell me I've got them all covered with, colored with this moose head is the paint scheme that I've used. Whatever your color scheme is. But when I put that color scheme on a piece of gear, that tells me this is something I'm going to use on my third agent and on my fourth agent. It's not gear that I'm going to use on my main agent. So I've actually color coded my gear with the paint dye is what I've done. So the process is on this agent, I'm going to put on the delete set. And then I'm going to go to this level 30 farmer set, and I'm going to press F for options, and I'm going to select send to stash. And that's going to take all that gear from that set and put it in the stash. At least I hope it does. Okay, now it's all in the stash. So you see the stash icon on everything, right? And the mod chips that were in these skills, those mod chips also go to the stash. All right, so it is unequipped the mod chips on my assault turret and on my healing drone, my repair drone, and it sent those mod chips to my stash as well. And then I'm going to go into my inventory, except I got to do it with the stash, but I'm going to go into my inventory. I'm going to select all these gear pieces. I am going to press options, and I'm going to sort it by level. This is one of the few times I will sort gear by level. So all the level 1 stuff is equipped and it has check marks on it, so it's at the top. But anything below it, it's going to put the highest level stuff first. So right now, I'm not interested in the level 40 stuff. But anything that starts with a 3 down here, I'm going to send all these to the stash too. Because I'm going to take all those and I'm going to put them on my agent. You'll see me when I recreate my fourth agent. I'm going to put all these in his backpack, even though he can't use some of them. Because as I'm running around New York, I'll swap a gear piece out and buff up my armor a little bit. And then don't forget the mod chips. So I got some mod chips. You'll see I got lots of, these are additional level 40s. None of these are marked as favorite. By the way, this is a side note. None of these are marked as favorite because they're on my third agent. I don't want to confuse them with the ones on my main agent. The ones on my main agent all have a marked as favorite. With mod chips, we don't have mark as donation or mark as recalibration. We only have mark as favorite or leave it unmarked or mark it as trash. But this level 31 mod chip, I'm going to take that over because I'll add it to my level 30 build as soon as I hit level 31, which will be about 2 minutes after I'm in New York. That's how long it takes to get to level 31. And I'm also going to check my weapons, which are sorted by level. And anything that starts with a 3 something, I'm going to take all these and move them to my stash. And I'll leave the level 40 ones behind for now, and I'm going to check my pistols, make sure these are, that's a level 40 pistol, so that's not going to do anything. And one more time through the mod chips, just because I'm kind of OCD that way, and I want to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. All right, so this is all level 40. Okay, so I'm only used 2 skills for the whole thing. By the way, don't get too, skill builds will make things quicker until you get to Keener, because Keener is going to take over your skills or nuke your skills. So I have equipped on my third agent the delete stuff, and I've sent all the stuff to the stash for my fourth agent. Now this is not the agent I'm going to delete. This agent stays on my account, so I'm just going to log off of him. We can use multiple agents on an account to store more equipment because we have access to their inventory, not their stash, but their inventories. So now I'm logging into my fourth agent, and we got to kind of go through a checklist of things before we delete the agent. There's some things that we want to make sure that we've done, before we delete an existing agent. Now, if you don't have 4 agents, you won't have to worry about deleting an agent. Just create additional agents. And since it's raining outside, I'm going to go inside the White House so that we don't have to hear the sound of the rain. So this agent also has, and you see I marked it all as donation, but this agent has the same gray gear as the other agent. I have no mod chips in the assault turret. I have no mod chips in that. And also go through all the other skills. You might pick different skills than me. I'm not saying to use those skills. Those are the ones that I like to play with. But you want to make sure you don't have any mod chips hiding out. If you had any mod chips at all, you would see orange squares in these boxes. So you want to check that before you delete an agent. You want to check the 2 skills on your agent. You want to make sure that you got the crappiest gear that you own. I keep the grays intentionally because at a glance that tells me I'm safe to delete this guy. He's got nothing of value equipped on him, so when I go to delete him, it's okay. Up here on the inventory, you'll see I'm 0 inventory out of 150, which means there are no additional items in my backpack over and above what I'm wearing on the agent, what he's wearing on his person. And down here, you want to check the mod chips, and I'm 0 of 100 on mod chips, so there are no mod chips that could be deleted if I deleted this agent right now. However, still not done. Before I delete an agent, I want to go into my watch and I want to make sure that I've spent any scavenging points. So these 16 scavenging points is what I put on my account last night on my main agent. One of the reasons why you want to have multiple agents on your account, ideally, if you're playing the level 1 through 30 because you enjoy the story, you want to go back through it, obviously that agent won't be level 40. If you have a hardcore agent and he's down in the 30s, well then he won't be level 40. But if you have no other reason to have other agents, you still want 4 level 40 agents on your account, because these 16 shade levels that I gained last night on my main agent, I get to spend them again on this agent. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to spend all these scavenging points. And while I'm in here, I want to stop and look at my credits. So right here, this is very important. You see those 400,000 credits right there? I don't want to delete this agent. Credits are not shared among your 4 agents, even if you buy the blueprint called shared account materials, which I have on all 4 of my agents. So things like ceramics, polycarbonate, steel, all of this stuff, even the printer filament, shade calibration, field recon data, these are all shared. These are the same exact numbers you would have seen on my main agent, but the credits are not the same. All right. And we're going to go into the resources proper. And so these credits are not shared. These are just regular in-game credits. They are not shared. These are countdown credits. I've never done countdown on this agent, so countdown credits are shared. These are descent credits. They are shared. This is premium credits, and they are, of course, are shared because they're tied to your player account. Shade Tech is per agent. Shade Tech is not shared. So Shade Tech and regular credits are not shared between each of your 4 agents, even if you have purchased the shared account materials. Neither are supplies. So these components, this food, and this water, these are not shared. These are agent specific. But everything else down here, all these optimization materials, protective fabric and receiver components, these are shared. So this is exactly what I'll have on the other agents. That tells me I better spend some receiver components before I start losing them. And these are the resources I currently have on my account. These are the fabrics that you get for deconstructing different brands in the game. And they are supposed to be shared, but there is a bug on some of the brands. And it's basically all the brands that were added to the game from a certain point forward. Those ones are not being shared correctly, but that is a bug. I have personally reported that bug to Ubisoft. Ubisoft has done nothing about it, but I could show you the ticket and they say they know about it. Hopefully it's part of the 2,000 bugs that will be fixed in the upcoming Project Resolve update, which will hit us in February 2024. This is still December 2023 when I'm shooting this video. So things like Xero wires, I don't know. Well, it looks like Xero wires will be shared, so that one's working. Cavalier, the last time I checked, wasn't shared. Hotshot wasn't shared, but this number's gone much higher because this is my 4th agent. So I think they are being shared now. Maybe they did fix my ticket. we'll test it and we'll see. When we go through New York, I'll do a wrap-up video after New York as well. And then I'll show you some things, like what to do before you purchase shared account materials. So there's a whole bunch of steps in here, and there are some advantages for doing things the way I'm doing it. It's kind of a nitpicky thing, but if you don't do it exactly the way I do it, there is a risk of losing some things. And it's not like it's the biggest deal, but it may be something for you. So how to spend those credits effectively? Well, actually, let me go back into resources. And I know what to look for because I have been upgrading backpacks and chest pieces and holsters recently. And that tells me, so look here, see my backpack weave? It's only 205 out of 99. But all of my other ones, chest weave is 776, gloves are 812, knee pads are 616, mask, if I pick up a mask and deconstruct it on any of my agents, I won't get credit for it. So that's because every mask I have is already expertise level 11. It's already fully optimized. It already has God rolls in every slot. And I don't have any other masks that I want to work on at this point. You're almost always going to be optimizing backpacks and chest pieces more, which means you will need backpack weave and chest weave more than anything else. And in fact, that's part of the reason why I'm going through New York City right now, is because I'm going to need a whole bunch of field recon data. I'm going to need a whole bunch of backpack weave and chest weave, and I'm constantly running out. You know, look at all the resources I have, but I'm running out, and it's at the point where some of these materials, you will, when you do expertise on gear pieces, you will burn through carbon fiber more than anything. I have 2,000 carbon fiber right now, merely because in the last 48 hours, I have spent 200 shade levels on carbon fiber. And I keep pushing carbon fiber to the highest point compared to the other resources I have. But when I go through and I apply expertise levels, every expertise level from level 1 through level 10 on a gear piece consumes carbon fiber. The first 5 also consume polycarbonate, which is why you see polycarbonate is lower than the rest. Unless you're doing weapons, you're not going to spend a lot of steel, and you're not going to spend a lot of titanium. I'm not really working on a lot of weapons, which is why you see my receiver components are almost max, and my steel is way higher than the other resources, and my titanium is way higher than the other resources. But you'll see my protective fabric is lower. And if I fill up a backpack, my main agent, I run around with like 50 items in my backpack that are part of builds and loadouts. That means I can pick up 100 pieces of gear off the battlefield before I'm full and got to go back to the White House and donate or deconstruct or whatever it is I'm going to do. If I have 100 items in my backpack, assuming the RNG variation of all the items I pick up, and I were to deconstruct everything, on average, that's going to put 2,000 protective fabric into my inventory. Receiver components come a little bit slower because you pick up, look at all the things that you wear. You wear 2 weapons and a pistol, so 3 items that are considered weapons, but you wear 6 items that are considered gear pieces. So if you were to pick things up like this and deconstruct like this, that's kind of the random distribution that you're going to pick them up. You're going to pick up half as many weapons as you are gear pieces as you move around the battlefield. So when you deconstruct things, you're going to get half as many of the resources from deconstructing weapons as you are from deconstructing gear pieces. So you want to, as you try to collect materials, farm for materials, whether it's New York City, spend materials, you have to be cognizant of how quickly am I picking certain things up, and factor into that deconstruction, factor into that spending shade levels, which are scavenger points on materials. And then you also have to factor in how fast you're burning them off. And that is going to be a function of what are you working on. If you're doing things like optimization in the game, you're going to be spending things like tactical assessments, gear weaves, field recon data. What do I have? Oh, I got nothing on me. I can't show you because I got level 1 stuff on there. So I can't even go in there and show you because I don't have anything. So I won't be able to see the optimization costs. God, I wish these guys would quit talking. So in any event, right now I want to spend credits. So when I go in I got to go into inventory. When I go into resources here, I am in the process of burning off my credits before deleting this agent. I am going to buff up my lowest gear weave, whatever it is. So now holsters looks like the lowest one, but I'll tell you, I will burn through more backpack weaves than holsters. And the reason for that is you will optimize more things on a backpack than you will on a holster. A holster comes with a core attribute and 2 secondary attributes. One of those 3 slots we can cheaply upgrade to whatever we want with recalibration. We can also change that slot with recalibration going forward. You've seen that in my other video, Why Materials Matter. I actually do it in front of you, so make sure you watch that video as well. So holsters have 3 total slots. Well, backpacks have 4 because they have a talent. They have the same core attribute, 2 secondary attributes, and a talent. I almost always want to recalibrate the talent on a backpack so I can switch hit the talent. If I want to modify my build in the future and play with a different talent, I'm going to keep the same backpack that I've invested a boatload of resources in to make sure it had God rolls through optimization and also through expertise, but I'm going to constantly recalibrate the backpack talent in order to be flexible with this version of a build or that version of a build, or maybe they add a new talent to the game and I wish I could add it to the build I already have. So I'm going to use recalibration on the talent and I'm going to optimize the attributes. Well, because there are 3 slots I'm going to optimize on backpacks and on average, and only 2 slots that I'm going to optimize on holsters, that means I'm going to consume way more backpack weave as I progress through the game than I ever will holster weave. So right now, holster weave is 189 and backpack weave is 205, but I still want backpacks. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to check in with our vendors, and I'm going to see who's got a backpack for sale. And right here's Hadsburg. This is a great opportunity because I don't think I have a lot of Hadsburg materials if I wanted to craft a piece of Hadsburg. So if I scroll down here and I look at Hadsburg, I'm at 772 Hadsburg guard materials out of a possible 999. So I'm not max. That means if I buy a bunch of backpacks and I deconstruct them, I have room to accumulate more Hadsburg guard materials in addition to backpack weave and protective fabric and a whole bunch of other things that are in there. Now, because I just told myself I was going to deconstruct a whole bunch of things, I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to go over here to the expertise table. And so we're going to touch on expertise a little bit here. I want to burn off some protective fabric, and I want to burn off some... no, I just want to burn off protective fabric. So the best place to burn off materials, you got 3 ways to work on proficiency. You can use the item or skill or specialization weapon and gain experience through the grind. You can donate copies of it. You can't do that for a skill or specialization weapon, but you can do it for everything else. So you get additional copies, you donate them and for proficiency using the donate all junk selection down here. That's the second way. And the third way is to donate to research proficiency by donating materials. Now, I recommend that you reserve donating materials for the things that fall into 1 of 2 categories. Number 1, you don't enjoy playing with it. Number 2, you don't have it to play with. So what do I mean by that? Look at my SMGs. You'll see I'm proficient with 36 out of 37, and I can guarantee you that the 37th one is going to be something that is probably a Dark Zone exclusive, or it's a raid thing. Actually, okay, I'm wrong. It's the apartment, and I have one of those in my stash. So I've already donated for because I'm further along the game than most of you watching the video. I have already donated materials to anything I haven't played with, or I force myself to play with them. Like I don't have a Dark Winter. Guys I play with have it. I wasn't interested in pursuing it, so I just donated materials to it until I get a copy, because I have access to limitless materials. A better example might be in the assault rifles. I think... Well, I've already done with the Eagle Bear. I have not completed the raid and gotten an Eagle Bear, or if that comes in, I can't remember if it's raid specific or Dark Zone specific. Either way, I don't have it. And then over in pistols, Well, I've got them all in the pistols. So the Regulus is one. This is one I would have donated to because I don't have this either. So I donated materials to it. Since I couldn't donate copies, if you don't have a copy, you can't donate any copies. Don't donate copies of exotics. Deconstruct your exotics for resources. So right now, I am working mostly with my specializations. I don't even have these specializations unlocked. I got to do all the research items. So this is where I'm burning off my materials right now. I'm going to go in here and very, very important. There's the same button, spacebar, donate resource, hold spacebar. That's what that arrow means. Means push down and hold. Means donate all materials. Don't do this. It's just a quick press. Just a small, quick press. If you press and hold this, it will donate everything on this screen. It will take all these materials, as many as it needs. It will take them evenly, and it will bump this up. I don't want to do that. I just want a quick press, and I want to burn off some protective fabric. So I'm pressing spacebar quickly, and you'll see that my bar over here is bumping up. And I'm going to take it down to about 2K. There we go. And then just for safety, I'm going to take that down because I know I'm not working on anything receiver components. Now, the reason why I'm doing this right now, and I'm talking about deleting a fourth agent, is I'm about to buy some items and deconstruct them. So I just picked up 3 proficiency levels right there through donation. So I'm going to go over here, and you're going to watch me buy, and I'm just going to keep pressing spacebar as fast as the game will let me do it while I talk to you, and watch my credits down at the bottom. I want to burn those credits off before I delete this agent. So that's the whole purpose of this exercise. Because if I deleted this agent and I left 500,000 credits on him, that's a resource that's gone wasted. And I want you to see firsthand what those resources can get me. Now, the part of the reason why I'm doing backpacks is to get backpack gear weave. That's the resource specifically I'm after. But I also will pick up some materials. And I will pick up some protective fabric, and I will pick up the material specifically for the Habsburg Guard brand. So these are the resources I'm going to get for my trouble here. I hope you're happy with your purchase. And I have collected stats on what 100 of them are. Maybe I'll post a table of that, but I'm not going to probably do it in this video because it's more about deleting the agent. Okay, so I've got 1,100 credits left. But I also have some watch levels here. So I want to spend these watch levels, and I probably will do it on credits. So I'm going to do that. And I notice I've never spent these other ones, but that doesn't matter because this doesn't carry over to other agents. It's specific to each agent. How many points are on your watch carries over, but how you spent them does not carry over. So now I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to keep buying some more. By the way, another good use for credits. I'm going to pause here for a second. You see this closer up here? That's a named item. I'm proficient in it, which is this shield with a star. But if I wasn't proficient in this named item, I would buy 20 copies of that named item and I would donate them, and bam, I'm proficient immediately. And 20 copies times 15,500 credits would be, I don't know, what is that? 300,000-ish credits, 310,000 credits roughly, or something like that. That's what it would cost me to go from no proficiency in the closer to I'm proficient in the closer, is buy 20 copies, and I can do that all with credits. And there are 7 vendors in the game. Nice doing business. You have a vendor here at the theater settlement. You have a vendor here at the campus settlement. You have 2 vendors in the White House, and I'm not talking about this guy that I'm standing at and the girl that's outside. The girl outside over here, right there, that girl, she sells the same stuff he does. But you have a clan vendor. When you go into your clan headquarters, you have a clan vendor there, and the clan vendor sells different stuff. Kazi Mendoza, the gun runner, she's also a vendor. So in DC alone, you've got theater, campus, regular White House vendor, clan vendor, Kazi Mendoza. That's 5 vendors in DC that with credits you can buy items, and you can spend. That's what you do with your credits. If you have credits on your account right now, hundreds of thousands or millions of credits and you're working on proficiency, you're doing it wrong. Your credits should be close to 0. You should have spent all of those credits on copies of items. Prioritize the name items. The named items are harder to find on the battlefield, especially some of them that are Dark Zone exclusives, or for example, the Shield Splinter. You kill the 8 hunters in DC, you get your 8, or you do the 8 hunter encounters in DC, you get your 8 ivory keys, you get 1 copy of the Shield Splinter, and after that, Kaysa Mendoza can sell it to you each week. So you can buy 20 copies of the Shield Splinter, because that's the only way to get it pretty much, is to buy it from her after you got your first copy, and then you donate those 20 copies and bam, you're proficient in the Shield Splinter, and all it cost you was credits. So when you're trying to grind through proficiency and expertise, that's a good way to do it. So back to deleting the agent. Did I buy everything? I'm going to keep buying Hadsburg, because the reason why I'm buying Hadsburg is I had room to collect Hadsburg materials. So I'm spending all my credits until I'm done. And I wish I could speed up this part of the video, but I don't have editing software, so you're going to have to grind through this with me. And I'm going to press this. I am just spamming the spacebar key is all I'm doing. Okay. So 5,000 credits. There's 5,000 credits left, so now I jump down and I buy 1 mod chip. All right, now I got 510 credits left, and that's pretty much all I've got. So now I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to mark everything as junk. So I'm spamming the V key until I get all the way down to the bottom. And you want to do this after you've emptied your agent. Okay, because there's no real gear in here, right? The only gear he had was the gray gear that was equipped, and the rest of his backpack was empty. And when I get to the bottom and I keep spamming V, it's going to keep toggling, so then I know I'm done. And now watch this. I'm going to deconstruct everything and see what I got. So that was roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 backpacks. So I got 2,600 protective fabric. If I didn't burn off the protective fabric I had, I was pretty close to going over with the 9,999 protective fabric. I added 89, so I did 89 backpacks because I got 89 Hasbro Guard materials and I got 89 backpack weave. So I bumped up that one weave category 89 because I took all those credits and converted them to backpack weave and Hasbro Guard materials, and as a bonus I got 144 ceramics and I got 80 polycarbonate and I got 6 printer filament because I bought the 1 chip. You don't get printer filament from backpacks, you only get printer filament from mod chips. And that's a good way to get rid of the shade points that my 4th agent had before I delete him, and it's also a good way to get rid of credits. By the way, a note on, well, you can't see it here, but from memory, if you scroll back the video, 1 scavenger point gets you 10,000 credits. 1 scavenger point will get you 10 printer filament. But if you take the scavenger points and buy credits with them, and take the credits and go to the vendor, the vendor always has 1 mod chip for sale that costs 4,517 credits. It's the cheapest mod chip. It'll change week to week what that mod chip is, but there'll always be one of them that's in the 4,517 range, or maybe it's a 4,519. This week we got one of each. This will be the cheapest mod chip. So you take your scavenger points, you convert them to credits. You take your credits and you buy 100 mod chips, and then you deconstruct the 100 mod chips and you get 600 printer filament at once. If you do it that way, you get 30% more printer filament than if you go from scavenger points directly to printer filament. 1 scavenger point spent directly on printer filament gets you 10 printer filament. All right, I'm going to multiply that number by 6. Okay, 6 points would get you 60,000, which would get you 360 printer filament. But if I take the 6 points times 10,000 credits, and then I divide that by 4,519, then I'm going to get 13 mod chips, and I'm going to times that by 6. Wait. I did something wrong. I did something wrong there. I need to compare. Hang on, I need my brain for a second. I'm trying to shoot a video and narrate, and I didn't work out this math puzzle in advance. I want to give you a direct comparison so you can see what it is. But 1 shade point is 10,000 credits, right? So divide that by 4, 5, 20. So that's 2.2 mod chips. So if I were to multiply that by 100, it'd be 221 mod chips. Okay. 221 mod chips times 6 printer filament per mod chip is 1,326. If I were to take the same amount of shade points, okay, 100 shade points, 100 shade points times 10, I get 1,000 printer filament. Okay, so if I had 100 shade points and I spend it directly on printer filament, I would get 10 printer filament per shade point. I would get 1,000 shade points. If I take the same 100 scavenger points, 100 times 10,000 credits, it gives me that many credits. I have that wrong. Yeah, it gives me that many credits. I divide that many credits by 4,519. It gives me 221, and then I times that by 6. I end up with 1,327. So I got 327 more printer filament by taking the 100 scavenger points, buying credits with them, taking the resulting credits, buying mod chips with them, and deconstructing the mod chips. I will get way more, 32.7% more printer filament by doing it the long way. Does it take more time? Yeah, it does. Put on a movie while you do it, okay? After you farm New York, you'll put on a movie and do it. And I'll probably show you this in the wrap-up video too after I farm New York. But that's why any credits left over, you can always buy mod chips. But I knew I needed backpack weave. So if I go to my inventory, whoops.
That was a good deal.
To go to my inventory now, and I go down to my backpack weave. Remember, I had a small number here. It was a 2-digit number. Now it's a 3-digit number. It looks a lot more healthy. I can burn through that in 2 or 3 optimization rolls. So the main reason why I'm going to New York is so I can get as much backpack weave as I want, which basically means farm backpack weave. And I had burned off all this printer filament. I had it down to the 2,000 levels. Well, I didn't waste it. I put it into proficiency before I deconstructed things, and now I'm already back up to 4,500. So when you go through your regular farming cycle, every time you go back to the White House, always check your printer, or always check your receiver components, always check your protective fabric. Make sure you're burning them off. If you're not getting expertise to burn them off that way, or whatever other ways there are to burn those things off, I think there's some at the crafting table, you can burn it off there, then you want to donate it for proficiency levels. And the best place to donate it for proficiency levels on things you cannot donate copies of, skills and specialization weapons, or any exotic or named item that you have not picked up off the map, that's where you want to be donating materials. The regular stuff you can pick up off the map with targeted loot, get copies of it donated, or pick up a copy and play with it and get experience that way. And if you do that way, you're taking 3 avenues to proficiency, and you'll level up your proficiency levels and your expertise levels so much quicker because you're leveraging all the possible ways to get it. So this agent now is ready for deletion. His inventory is empty. All right, everything I bought recently here was deconstructed, so I have 0 of 150. I have 0 mod chips of 100. If I go into his watch, he has no scavenger points to spend. And if I go into his resources and look at his credits, I have only 510 credits. That's all I'm going to lose when I delete this agent. And these 2 Shade Tech I don't care about because my main agent has all of his skills unlocked. And that's the only thing that Shade Tech's really good for, is unlocking skills. So this agent's ready for deletion. So now I'm going to log out on my 4th agent. I don't need to do anything else. Remember that on my 3rd agent, I had my level 30 gear. I moved it to my stash. So now I'm going to go ahead and delete this agent. And you got to press and hold X to delete. All right, and now you see that I only have 3 agents. Okay? So now I'm going to create an agent. So I just deleted them, and I'm going to create them. And you're like, Cosmic, are you telling me that I can create an agent, farm New York City, spend the resources, delete the agent, create the agent again, farm New York City, spend the resources, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat? Yep, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Now, I normally deck this guy out with really good looking things. I'm going to randomize the character a little bit. I'm going to get one that I can live with. And I'm not going to do too much customization. There we go. This guy looks okay. All right. I'm going to continue. I'm going to confirm the character. Oh my god, his gear's so atrocious. I would spend another 20 minutes normally customizing this guy. But I want to keep the video short, so I will play an ugly agent just for you guys, okay?
Mission highlighted. Proceed to the marker.
Alright. And unfortunately, everything's slow.
Agent.
So, I did a level 1 agent. I did not do a level 30 agent boosted to New York. There's a reason for this, but I can't show it to you until we get to the White House.
Follow me.
So you're going to have to live through all of this.
Jump over it.
There you are. Hostile threat detected. Take cover. Got it, coming from behind that barrier.
And of course, I've got weapons with
Keep firing.
small magazines.
Keep coming. Hold the line. Watch your flank. Keep moving. Don't stay in one spot for too long.
I'll take him out. I'm in a bad way here.
All right. Once he falls, you don't have to shoot anybody. Just revive him. It'll go to the cutscene.
Okay.
Then you press and hold skip. So you don't have to shoot everybody. You're waiting for that agent to fall on the ground. You skip every cutscene by pressing and holding F. So anytime they give me an opportunity, and right now I'm lifting up on the F key and I'm pressing down and holding it because some things you can skip and they don't put the little message on.
Is out there, waiting.
This is the cover shot. Cover shot. I so love the graphics in this game, except for the character, the agent's face. Our agent's faces are terrible, but the graphics of the world are just beautiful as hell. 5 years into the game, I'm skipping every cutscene. Trying to skip a cutscene now, it won't let me. It's always going to show you, what is this, Lincoln Memorial? I'm going to press and hold this. Okay.
Incoming alert on the SHD emergency channel. Flash priority.
I'm running backwards on purpose.
Base of operations is under attack. Hostile forces have breached our southern perimeter.
This
We are
is-
in need of immediate assistance. Repeat, need immediate assistance from any nearby agents.
All right. This is one of the hidden hotels I'm in right now, but I don't want the shotgun, and I'm immediately going to save... Whoops. I'm going to save a loadout right now. And I'm going to name it Delete, because this is the same loadout that I put on my agents that says, this is what I want him to be wearing when I delete the agent. Now I'm going to run out, but I'm not running where they want me to run. You're limited in where you can run. They'll like kill you if you go too far off the beaten path. But I am not running directly where they want me to run because you don't have to do that. You don't have to run over and throw a grenade. So we're going to run past it. This is all tutorial stuff. I could have looted that box, but it's only going to pay like 3 resources because I'm level 1. The boxes scale with level. I'm not... And I picked up that weapon because it'll make the encounter I have to do go a little bit faster. Because the shotgun doesn't have a very big magazine. So I've already walked past one encounter, and on our right flank where that orange diamond in is a second encounter, and I'm running past that encounter. And they're going to put a message on my screen. They want me to throw a grenade, but I'm not going to waste a grenade until I get to combat. And I'm going to run through this gate. See, there's enemy right there, but I'm not worried about them. I'm going straight mad dash to the White House. I prefer to do it on the right side because I'm closer to where the enemy spawns. I will do the little hit and roll because that's an easy one. I don't have to waste anything to do it. I'm going to climb up here. I've got 2 weapons with some automatic fire now. But I'm going to start by throwing their grenade. It's quicker to swap weapons. Now when I duck down to reload, I'm going to reload both weapons. I'm going to dismiss. God, these weapons were such crap without weapon handling.
We got someone down.
You gotta creep. Oh my God, these weapons so suck. It is such an unstable weapon. Alright. I don't worry about ammo. I don't worry about pickups. I don't worry about anything. It's just about getting the tutorial done. If I had a shotgun, I wouldn't have been able to sit in the cover. The shotgun isn't very effective. There's no way to skip this cutscene. You gotta see the White House in all of its glory. I'm immediately going to run upstairs and talk to Manny Ortega. I should have closed chat. Come on. And I hate the dramatic effect. We got to slow you down so you can see everything. Alright. You go up to the door. You press to enter. You press and hold to skip Manny's conversation.
By the way, Agent,
You run downstairs.
check in with the quartermaster.
I press spacebar 3 times to get rid of the infomercials that I don't care about. I have to get a skill from Coop Dennison before I can, what is that, fixer drone? Okay. I have to get one skill before I can manually boost to New York, or to level 30, not to New York, but to level 30. Alright, so I got my fixer. Alright, now get me out of there. Okay.
The theater settlement is off to the east. You probably run into some trouble along the way.
Now I go to the store.
Block by block, but I'm sure you'll be fine.
In store, I'm going to go to add-ons. And I'm going to go to level 30 boost. And I'm going to boost my character to level 30. And yes, I know I could have created an agent that was level 30 to begin with. But I would not have had the opportunity to do what I'm about to do right now. Okay? So there's a reason why you manually create them on level 1, not level 30. Keep in mind, this is a process we're going to do over and over and over again. And you're seeing me on the umpteenth time that I've done it. I'm going to skip the cutscene. I'm still at the White House. I'm still at the White House, and I'm level 30. So this got me a few things. Number 1, I don't want those infomercials, please. I'm actually trying to play the game. All right, number 1, it gave me 6 pieces of yellow, all right off the get-go. But I'm here in DC, and I can do things with those 6 pieces of yellow, all right? Number 2, it gives me access to my stash because now I can go to New York with stuff, all right? So I'm going to go to my stash, and I'm going to make sure that things are sorted by level. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And I want to take anything that has a 30 in it, a level 30 in it. I'm going to put it on my agent. So these are the weapons I'm going to farm with. And I'm going to take everything with a score like 515, 511. This is the gear that I've accumulated. Not that level 1 thing, because I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to do that for weapons. There's my pistol. I'm going to do it for each gear slot. So I've got a 507 mask that I pretty much wear all the way through New York unless they give me a better one here. I have a 36 and a 504. This means I will be able to farm New York with a much better collection of gear. Start with, I have 3 copies of Contractor's Gloves. So I will always have contractor's gloves on, and I run with a LMG build, so that's kind of important because that gives me damage to armor. It gives me, this is going to give me an advantage, and it's going to make speed running New York quicker because I have a build that is been put together over various iterations. I actually farmed DC on level 30 for a while, just to play it, just to reminisce, to have a level 30 agent in case I was helping clanmates that were level 30, and I didn't want to jump in with a level 40 agent and just automatically kill everything. And then I also want to make sure I get the mod chip. So there was a mod chip. I can't put this on. If this level 31 mod chip was in any of those pieces of gear, I would not have been able to equip those pieces of gear on my agent. That's why it's separate. I hate that little sticky thing. I wish it would go away. Do I have any mod chips? I got some 33s, some 32s, and 31s for the turret. And then I'm going to look at the drone attachments. And that's a 494, so that is a level 30 when it has a 494 score. And those are the only two skills I worry about is drone attachments and turrets. I'm not using any of those skills. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to put on, I get to activate my specialization here in DC before I go to New York. So I'm going to use the sharpshooter one. That's the one that I choose to use. I'm going to activate that. And now I got to go back in and I got to inspect it and spend the points. So I can do all this before I leave DC. I play with rifles. I play with machine guns. And I play with marksman rifles. Now you'll use different choices of weapons, whatever your build is for you, right? But it's a level 30 build, so base it on whatever your level 30 gear is. And if you are creating an agent for the first time to farm New York for materials on story mode, then and if you don't have any level 30 gear, then you're probably going to, the first time you go through, you're going to work with whatever they handed you, right? So what did they give me? They gave me 3 pieces of Douglas and Harding. Hey, wow, that's a max damage roll knee pads. That's actually not very bad. But my Sawyer's knee pads are better. But before I do that, remember I saved a loadout. And I saved that loadout as soon as I picked up the additional gray weapon. That was when you wanted to save that loadout. Because I'm going to apply this loadout first. And I'm going to go over here to Coop.
Oh, hey.
And I'm going to pick a turret, an assault turret. And I'm going to put it in this loadout. Hang on.
See ya.
I got to do it this way. I got to go in here and pick it here. Assign it to slot, put it there. And there's a reason why I have to do this. So now I added this skill. If I didn't have a skill in this slot right here, whenever I switch loadouts, whatever skill was previously on my agent before I switch loadouts would be in that slot. I have to have a skill in a loadout for it to switch. And what's very important about this loadout, which I'm going to update right now. So at this point, I want to overwrite the loadout. The reason why I'm doing this is in the future, I will want to delete this agent. And I want to make sure that there are no mod chips inside of the turret and no mod chips inside of the drone when this loadout is saved. And there are no mod chips anywhere. It's all gray gear, 2 empty skills. So when I delete the agent in the future, I've already set him up to delete by virtue of saving this loadout. I will put this loadout on, which takes everything else of value off of my agent. Therefore, I can put it away into the stash and then, like you saw me, delete the agent. So this is a cyclical process that we iterate over and over again. Now, I'm going to go in here, and I've picked up some things. Now I want to put my level 30 stuff on. So I want my 5.11 machine gun. And I want my custom M40, not the level 39 one. I want the 5.15 marksman rifle. And I still like my pistol because I have already recalibrated 9.9 pistol damage on this. So even though it's 449, I consider it a better pistol. It also has more rounds in the magazine, which is something I value, is that my pistol carries as many rounds as possible. And I like my version. This goes together because I'm getting set bonuses that I want, as well as I've got mod chips already in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my previously acquired. Now, there's no mod chip in the chest piece because while I have a mod chip to put there, it's a level 31 mod chip. My other mod chips are already in use, but I have a level 31 8.2% critical hit damage. So once I hit level 31, I'm going to equip that mod chip. So right now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to complete. I'm putting my Petrov. I'm putting my Sawyer's knee pads. I've got my gear score 505 contractor's gloves, and here comes my 504 Providence defense. These are all marked as favorites. And now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to mod my turret. Now on turrets, I can equip mod chips that are higher level than my agent, but they won't take effect until I am that level. So I can, in advance, put those mod chips on. Whoops, I wanted to mod it. And the sharpshooter has a long duration, so my healing drone will have a long duration. And then I have a mod chip for health, and I have nothing. I don't have a healing one, so that slot's going to stay empty because I don't have it. So now I've got a pretty competent build. I'm limited. I have to remember I just applied the sharpshooter, so I'm going to change my scope to the really good scope that comes with sharpshooter. These are the only mod chips I have available, and for a marksman rifle, the best one here is accuracy. But the stability, which I already had on the weapon, is on there, and the stability here. So I'm starting level 30 with a very accurate, very stable marksman rifle with Ranger on it, okay? Because I kept this gear from previous iterations or from farming DC on level 30, okay? And then I'm going to start off with a machine gun that has really good rolls, okay? Not max rolls entirely. I can't optimize this. You got to be level 40 to optimize things. But it has the talent I want on it. I use recalibration to get the talent I want on it. So this is a set, a loadout that I keep, and every time I farm New York City, I reapply it, at least when I start New York City, and I'm starting off on a really good foot, which means New York City is going to take less time for me to do. Now, as I go through, if I pick up other stuff, so they just gave me some stuff, right? I don't need this. And by the way, I'm going to save this loadout really quick, and I'm going to name it. This is my level 30 farmer loadout. Okay, so when I farm New York City, or actually, there, that's a better name. Okay, that's my loadout for farming New York City. I've got the correct grenade I want. I've got my specialization I want. You might make different choices, and that's fine. And I've got a build that centers around this. So I hit pretty hard with the machine gun. I hit pretty hard with the marksman rifle. That's going to enable me to go through things very quickly. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to load this loadout, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to mark all this as favorites. Actually, I'm going to mark it as donation. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to make sure that I don't... Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't want to delete these things by mistake, right? Actually, let me go here. All right. So I'm going to mark all these as donation, which is what you saw when I started the video, or when I just before I deleted this agent. That just protects all of this gray stuff. And the reason why I don't want to delete this, you're like, well, that's just cheap crap. You know, why don't you just put purples or oranges there or whatever? Because purples can be deconstructed for backpack weave. Grays cannot. Yellows that I'm not going to wear and I don't want to keep can be deconstructed for backpack weave or chest weave or whatever fabric. They can be deconstructed for something useful and purposeful. These gray things are just a complete waste of space, except when I delete my agent. They serve a purpose when I delete my agent in the future, in that I'm not throwing away something of value. They help me at a glance go in the future, because you saw me delete this agent earlier in the video. They allow me at a glance to go, it's safe to delete this agent, but not right now because his inventory is 31 of 150. So I got 31 items in the backpack. Those are the things I'm going to start New York with. So I have this agent loadout for deletion in the future, which you saw before I deleted it, and I have this loadout created, and I want this done before I go, because I can switch, right? Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Forget I did the last one. I have to recreate my my build now. I'm an idiot sometimes. And that was one of those times where I'm an idiot. By the way, while I'm in here recreating the agent, you see this military Mark 17? It has a score of 508. I could have equipped this into the loadout, but I didn't. The reason why this is in the backpack is for those scenarios when I'm in combat and I can't make it to an ammo crate and I run out of ammunition. I carry an alternate weapon category, a weapon from an alternate category in my backpack. So if I run out of machine gun rounds in the middle of combat and the ammo crate is in a dangerous position or it's too far away or there's no ammo crate around, then I can simply change my machine gun to a rifle, and now I have all of the rounds that you would leave a safe house or haven or whatever with. I have all those rounds available for a rifle, and that means I can keep fighting in combat. So I recommend, I do that on my level 40 agents too. I always have an extra weapon in my backpack that is of a different category than what my build is using. And then that makes it more ammunition available to me in a firefight. Okay, I am going to resave this loadout. That's what's supposed to be in that loadout. And everything's there. Now, all these things are already marked as favorite before I pass them to this agent. Now, I look at the stuff that's here. Is the Fenris better for me than what I have in my build already? No, then that's junk. All right. Is this Gilligard better for me than what I already have? No. So it's junk. Every time I do New York, I take a moment and I look at these pieces of gear because they are, in fact, opportunities to upgrade whatever your New York City build is. Now, in this particular case, RNG wasn't too favorable for me. Now, this one had a 9.9% weapon damage roll, and I could walk to the recalibration table right now and recalibrate this weapon handling to something else that has a higher roll. I'm not going to do that because I'm starting off with an exotic knee pad that gives me a 30% weapon damage bonus if I stay still for 10 seconds. So I'm going to use my exotic. But this would have been a good one to keep if I didn't already have a Sawyer knee pad to begin with. So when you go through New York City, you want to take the time to actually look and see what they gave you with the RNG process if you don't have level 30 yellow gear of your own. So that's important because when you walk through New York, everything you pick up after the initial gear they give you is going to be purple, and it's going to be blue, and it's going to be crap. So I'm going to delete all that stuff, and I'm going to get some materials right off the bat. All of these things are going to go into my inventory, and they'll eventually make it to my main agent. We'll see that in the wrap-up video. So right now, I want to make sure that the only whoops, I keep going the wrong way. The only things that are in here should be marked as favorites. That should be marked as a favorite, and it wasn't. That's a mistake by me. This is junk. They give me this. Okay. Check the pistols. That is a specialization one. Can't get rid of it. I don't want that one. That's junk. All right, so I got the gray. This is a level 36. It shows up as red. I won't be able to use it until I hit level 36. I got 2 extra copies of contractor gloves, so I can keep swapping that out. And the reason why I have those is it just bumps up my armor a little bit without dramatically altering my build. Okay. All right, one last time. Okay. Now, right now I want to take note of one number, the 22. That is my empty backpack number. You always, whenever you're farming, you need to know what an empty backpack, how much it has. Now, I see one mod chip down here. What's the mod chip that I have down here that I didn't do anything with? And I don't normally take this much time. I'm shooting it. It's this mod chip, and I can't equip it. So that's the only additional mod chip. Once I complete the initial encounter in New York City, you start off at the mayor's office or something like that or whatever, and you're there with Alani Kelso, then I'll be able to equip that chip. So I'm ready to go. I've done everything here except one thing. Very important before you go to New York City. Come over here to Anaya. She sells you blueprints. Dismiss all this. I hit the wrong F. It got me the crafting table. I want to buy blueprints.
I can
now,
help you craft, but I'm out of supplies.
The only blueprint I want to get is account shared blueprints. Do not buy account shared materials right now. Don't buy it right now. This is not the correct time to buy it. I'll explain why in the wrap-up video. For now, you want to buy this blueprint before you head to New York. This is one of the major reasons why I believe in creating a level 1 character, not a level 30 character. If you go to New York City does not have a Naya.
Later.
She's not there. So you can't get... let me show you what happens when I buy this account shared blueprints. It only costs 11 credits. I have 100 credits to start with. I'm going to buy that item. Boom. Notice all the other blueprints disappeared. Okay? And a whole bunch of messages are going to scroll across the screen. Whatever blueprints my main agent had, all of the game progress he had as far as blueprints was concerned, is now available to this agent, even though I haven't done anything on this agent. And why that's important is when you're putting your build together from this point forward, maybe I don't have all of the correct mods on this weapon that I want, and maybe I want to upgrade this weapon to make it a little bit more impactful. Well, as I start to do missions in New York, I could put together a project to get the stuff to craft whatever blueprint I wanted to get increased critical hit damage or critical hit chance on this weapon or whatever. And that would make New York run quicker. But I can't do that if I don't have the blueprints. And the only place to get the blueprints is here in DC. So I bought all of those blueprints. Now, I don't have enough materials and credits and whatever else is required to craft any of the sights or muzzle brakes or whatever else that buffs my weapons right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go to New York at this point.
Ready to go to New York.
And I'm going to press and hold for the cutscenes. I'm going to keep pressing and holding. Every time they show me, press and hold.
The division has suffered heavy casualties at City Hall. We believe it was a targeted strike.
I wish they gave you one key to press to just get you there.
Calling all agents.
And now I'm on the ground.
Requesting immediate reinforcements at City Hall. I extracted some of the survivors, but there are still people trapped inside the building. Be careful. We got hit with a bioweapon. Masks on at all times.
Follow me. We've got to get up there.
Alright, I just pressed Z to disable tutorial when that HUD showed because I don't want any more tutorial items.
Take out that hostile.
It's not press and hold, it's actually press. And now these guys are going to die in short order. Now I'm level 31, right there.
Also, get inside City Hall and secure the wounded. I'll send help as soon as I can.
Remember that 31 mod chip? I couldn't equip it before. Now I can. And whenever I change my build, I immediately save the loadout. It's green. I don't care what it is. I don't want it. I'm deconstructing it. The only time I would not deconstruct is if I wanted some credits. And then I would collect some items and sell them at the vendor for credits. And you're going to need credits if you want to craft something. We're moving at the speed of Kelso right now, so I can't really push ahead of her. But I'm going to loot everything while I'm waiting for her to yap her trap.
Sweep the building and keep an eye out for survivors.
You're really useful there, Alani. I'm going to run down the steps.
Get down there. Come on.
She's still planning what to do, and I'm already doing it. I'm going to go over here. My inventory's full of rounds. I got to wait for Mao. What's her name? Agent Lau to tell me to go downstairs.
Reach City Hall. I'm with the survivors. The Haven settlement is sending medics. Make sure the area is secure before they arrive. It's gotta be Riders coming into the basement.
Now, if you notice, my level 30 build is now weaker. The armor bar is much, much weaker than before.
Got something for you.
Agent, this is Lau. There's a surveillance system in the basement. We need to find out who is responsible for the attack.
Didn't even look at the gear. I just deconstructed it. I might lose my drone when I go down the steps. Reload while I walk.
Active server detected.
Press F to cut. To skip through the cutscene. Not really required.
Entering contaminated area.
After Coney Island, we knew Keener was working on some kind of virus, but I didn't think he could weaponize it this fast. We should have prepared for this.
Lau, the medics have arrived. They're extracting the survivors.
Meet me at the Haven building. Switch the coordinates. They have a lot to talk about.
Made you something special.
The survivors have been extracted. City Hall is clear. Let's regroup in the park and go to Haven.
I don't worry about backpacks and things, but I will pick up, while I'm in the area, I will pick up the loots because, hey, you know what the little boy said when he tinkled in the ocean? Every little bit helps. I really don't need to reload. I got to kill 4 guys or 3 guys at the top of this staircase.
We got incoming. I need you up here.
It was 4 guys, but there really only were 3 because they had no health.
Agent Lau sends us Haven's coordinates. Let's go.
We got to mark this on the map. So as soon as they let me mark a waypoint, I mark Haven as a waypoint, and that gets me through the map. She's going to flap her trap. I'm going to try looting my way through while she wastes time. There'll be one encounter between us and Haven. It goes pretty quickly.
It's strange being here.
So I'm going to reload my weapon while I'm walking and waiting for her to open the door.
You assume it had to be a perfect storm for everything to go so wrong. But the more you look at it, the more you realize this could have happened anywhere. Amherst just chose New York.
Since the whole purpose for doing New York is materials, I'm going to grab whatever materials are in easy. Veer off the
Careful, Agent.
road just a little bit.
Looks like there's trouble up ahead. Get to cover. Aim for their fuel tanks. That should slow them down.
While I'm waiting for the next wave, there's a box over here. Shoot his legs.
Come on, we've got to keep moving. I heard some pretty messed up things about the cleaners back in DC. They seem to think the only way to save this city is to burn everything that could be contaminated. It's hard to believe they were regular people before the outbreak.
Get to Haven as soon as you can. Just don't expect a warm welcome. The guy in charge, Paul Rhodes, isn't happy to see me.
See how everything's like blue and purple? Everything I pick up over here is going to be this. She's walking slow, so I jump in here and grab these things. Out the window. We have to wait for the dialogue before we can go in, so I'm just going to run past that so she walks over.
We're here to speak with Rhodes.
There's a box or 2 over here.
We've taken in enough agents. It never ends well for us.
Get back!
Oh, one right there.
Let him in. Rhodes wants to hear what they have to say.
And we get there just about the time the door opens. That door would not have opened any quicker if I had walked straight to it.
This settlement was founded a few months back by some ex-JTF and civilian volunteers. They're calling themselves the Peacekeepers. It's the safest place in Lower Manhattan. They've got security, food, supplies, you name it. The fact that they're still going and haven't been run over by the Rikers or the Cleaners is pretty impressive. But they're not very fond of the division, which is why we need
When
to
she
convince
quits
them to help
yapping,
us while
I
we go
can
after
talk to
Keener.
Rhodes.
Come see me in Rhodes' office. He's not my biggest fan. Too much history there. Hopefully we can convince him to let us stay.
And I'm going to press and hold F because I don't want to go through the dialogue. I'm going to skip the cutscene. And now we can do the mission. At this point, I can team up with other agents. So I'm going to escape and end the tutorial.
Parnell was an RPA pilot before he went rogue, so he knows drones inside and out.
Unbelievable.
Now I skipped this. I talked to Rhodes because that's kind of something they want you to do, and it triggers some things, and you do it with Roy Benitez as well because he was in that meeting.
Don't worry about Rhodes. He'll want.
And you skip and hold that. And now the full features of Haven are available to you at this stage of the game. Some things come later. There is some gear over here, but you see that it's blue and it's crap, so I'm just gonna deconstruct it all. All right, and I picked up something by mistake in the middle of combat, I think it was. So that's crap, and I leveled up, so I got a proficiency cache. And I'm going to set this to new items first at this point, because I'm, for the moment, done with things. So I'm going to end the video here in a short amount of time. But at this point, I am ready to team up with friends or clanmates and go knock this out. And what you want to do is you do all of the stuff that advances the story. You only need to do the main missions, so it'll be all of these yellow things. You're basically doing the manhunt. Whatever it takes to complete this manhunt, that's all you have to do. You kill Keener, you get his watch. Okay? So whatever they tell you, and see how a bunch of them is unknown, but the 4 starting items, Brooklyn Bridge, Quarantine Skyscraper, National Bond Bank, and Crash Drone. Those are the 4 starting points. I always do Theo Parnell first. It's just the way I like to do it, but you could do it in any order that you want. I do have level 39 builds and level 40 builds. I find that killing Kajika sometimes is difficult, and killing Keener sometimes is difficult. So if it's just me running by myself, I take my time. But I'm going to try it with a friend from my clan. We're going to team up tomorrow from me shooting this video, and we're going to do a 2-man thing. And I think we'll be able to knock it out in 2 hours with 2 people, because it's pretty much all story mode content. They may add more enemies, but we'll be able to cover each other's backs, and the big bosses can't shoot in 2 directions at the same time. So the more agents you can team up, the better. And so anytime you do a main thing, but we should be able to, like, I should be able to invite someone right now. So he's level 31. I could invite him to a group. So invitation is open at this point. So I've created a character, but I've done it safely, and I've set myself up to grow that character if I wanted to do mod chips or whatever. Now keep in mind, you're going to need a build to kill Keener that is not reliant on skills. When you get to Liberty Island and you kill Keener, or attempt to kill Keener, he can disrupt your skills and he can take over your skills. So if you pop a assault drone, it'll become his assault drone. So you don't want that. So you got to be able to kill him without that. I find that one of the things that makes farming this really quickly is the unbreakable talent on a chest piece. And I think I'm using Companion here. I have a backpack with Companion. Another good talent I recommend is Bloodsucker, especially against Keener and Javier Kajika. If you can get the Bloodsucker talent on there, Javier Kajika throws out the shock traps, and every time you shoot a shock trap, that counts as a kill, so you get bonus armor. And same thing when you do the final the final protocol with Keener, right? His legacy, when he's trying to fire the missile at from Liberty Island to wherever he's firing at, New York City, I guess. He spawns a whole bunch of skills, and every time you kill a skill, you get bonus armor. And when you're fighting Keener himself, he's going to put up a deflector drone, and he's going to have airburst seeker mines and a whole bunch of other things, and he's going to pop out skills, sniper turrets, and things like that. So every time you kill those skills, if you have Bloodsucker talent on your backpack, you will get bonus armor. So that's as I move forward. This one has Composure. This is my level 36 one, which is one. But I have a level 40 build. If I'm doing it by myself, I will stay in New York City and farm control points or whatever to get my guy up to level 40. And I have a build specifically for killing Keener easily and quickly. And you know, the drones can't touch me. The aerial recon drone that Black Tusk has can't touch me. I can run through that encounter and face tank them all on a level 40 build I have on story. If I can do it with other people, then, you know, you're spreading the risk across everybody in your group. So those are the things you want to. Now, this level 30 build, every time I pass through New York, if I have the opportunity, or every time I pass through this cycle, starting in DC and going to New York, if I can pick up a copy of an item and improve the build, I will. But you can't rely on stuff from the vendor, because going to the vendor at this point, he only sells purple and blue items. So this is all crap. It's all junk. Even if it was a level above mine, because of the set bonuses and things like that, and the ceiling values on these core attributes and secondary attributes, it'll be a while before I swap anything out. So this is how you set up your 4th agent, and I have 4 agents again, but this guy does not have a Keener watch, and I'm not going to show you the whole farming New York City. That you just do in whatever way makes sense for you. But you only need to focus on main missions and side missions. Group for any mission, so call for backup, matchmake, or whatever. It'll go quicker. You'd be surprised how many other players are doing this same thing. And when I get my watch back, in my case, I'll have over 5,000 shade points to spend. I'll have 5,700 shade points to spend, 800 of which will go to things like critical hit chance, damage, and stuff like that. So that means I have almost 5,000 shade levels to spend on materials. That is 10,000 field recon data if I just wanted to put it all in field recon data. It's ridiculous how many materials. And this is not an exploit or anything like that. It's part of the game. Lots of players do it. People know that they do it because you basically have to play the game. And one thing that you're providing is you're providing more players playing through the content on story mode, which is more opportunity for new players coming to the game to matchmake. So always turn matchmaking on, and maybe you'll meet new players and you can recruit them to your clans or your friends list or whatever you have. So there you go. I'm going to wrap this video up, and I will shoot a follow-up video that is things to do after you've completed New York and killed Keener. Hopefully this video turned out well. I've tried to shoot it 2 or 3 times, but I've always forgotten a critical component, and then it'd be like, God darn it, I forgot to mention this, I forgot to mention this. So this has everything in it. Now, could you cut some of this stuff out? Sure. Could you just go straight to New York and not worry about mods and stuff like that for your weapons? Sure, you could. But you know, I got my specialization. I also got 2 skills that I wanted and everything, so I'm ready to go at this point. So I'm going to sign off, wrap this video up, and we'll see you in the game or in the next video. Have a good one, guys.